Good morning. Good morning. Let's give one more big round of applause for our jazz band for welcoming us in with music this morning. Students, staff, and distinguished guests, we welcome you to our 2025 Black History Month Assembly. It's truly an honor to be here this morning as we reflect and we educate and, of course, celebrate the Black History Month. Every year we come together to honor the contributions, the struggles, the triumphs of African Americans throughout history. And this year's National Black History Month theme is African Americans and Labor. It reminds us of a truth that so many of us already know too well. Hard work is nothing new. For centuries, African Americans have been at the heart of building this country, literally and figuratively. From the forced labor of slavery to the fight for fair wages, civil rights, and workplace equality, Black workers have played an essential role in shaping our country, in shaping the economy and the industries in which we rely on today. Think about this. Before we had machines and automation, we had people. People who built railroads, farmed the land, laid the bricks of our cities, and worked in factories that powered the Industrial Revolution. And yet, for much of our history, their labor wasn't met with gratitude or a paycheck, but with barriers, injustice, and struggles for dignity. African Americans weren't just working hard, they were also leading the charge for change. I'd like to just, for a moment this morning, recognize two trailblazers of the African American community. First, Frederick Douglass. Douglass published several autobiographies, including a narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass, an American slave, which became a bestseller and strengthened the abolitionist movement. And he was a firm believer in education, equality, and justice, advocating not only for the end of slavery, but also for women's rights and labor rights. He advised presidents, including Abraham Lincoln, and fought for African American civil rights during and after the Civil War. Douglass's legacy remains a symbol of resilience, intellect, and the power of using one's voice to create change. And then there's Madam C.J. Walker. Madam C.J. Walker was an African American entrepreneur, philanthropist, and social activist, best known as the first self-made female millionaire in the United States. Born Sarah Breedlove to formerly enslaved parents in Louisiana, she overcame poverty and hardship to build a hair care empire tailored to Black women's needs. And after experiencing hair loss, Walker developed and marketed her own line of hair and beauty products, including the famous Walker System, which promoted scalp health and hair growth. And she built a nationwide business, training thousands of women as sales agents and empowering them with economic independence. And beyond business, Walker was a strong advocate for racial and gender equality. She donated to civil rights causes, supported Black colleges, and founded organizations like the NAACP. Her success story remains a powerful example of entrepreneurship, self-determination, and uplifting of the community. And so we fast forward to today, February the 27th, 2025, and we see African Americans leading industries in medicine, technology, entertainment, law, business, and beyond. From corporate boardrooms to classrooms, from the arts to activism, Black excellence continues to shape and influence every part of our country. And for those who are sitting here wondering, what does this have to do with me? The answer is everything. Because this history isn't just Black history, it's American history. It's a story of resilience, innovation, and relentless pursuit of justice. Values that should inspire each and every one of us in this room, no matter where we've come from. So what we can learn from this Never underestimate the power of your work. Whether you're working on grades, a job, or your personal goals, know that every step you take matters. Second, speak up. Many of the labor rights we have today, minimum wage, the right to organize, workplace protections, exist because of people before us who spoke up and fought for fairness. If you see injustice, use your voice. And lastly, honor the past, but build on the future. Each of us sitting here has the potential to contribute to something greater than yourself, whether it's your school, your community, or in one day, as students, your career. Take inspiration for those who have come before you. Make your impact. So as we join together as a Cavalier community, let us take this moment to respectfully celebrate and honor the rich history, the resilience, and the contributions of Black Americans. Their stories are woven into every fabric of our nation, stories of strength, perseverance, innovation, in triumph, all in the face of adversity. Now I'd like to invite to the stage Mr. Ben Yendila to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, immediately followed by our guest musician this morning, Mr. Rick McConnell, as he leads us in the singing of the Black National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing. That was a hymn written as a poem by NAACP leader James Weldon Johnson in 1900. Ben, I invite you to the stage, if you may stand for the pledge and the singing of the Black National Anthem. You got to be right in that mic, okay?
I pledge allegiance to the flag and to the Republic of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Stand again.
I'm going to ask that you remain standing.
Can you turn it up a little bit, the music?
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has taught us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, facing the sun when days unborn had died, yet with a steady beat had not our weary feet come to the place of which our fathers died. We have come over a way with the tears have been watered. We have come treading our path with the blood of the solid. Gloomy now we stand at last, where we remain, of which our bride is cast. God of our wearies, God of our silent tears, has brought us thus far on the way. Thou who hast by thy might led us into the light, keep us forever in the path, we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee. Lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadowed beneath thy hand, may we forever stand. True to our God, true to our native land. Woo.
You may be seated. Now it's my pleasure to invite to the stage Stella and Gale to share a Come on up, Stella. To share a powerful and inspiring piece with us. She'll be reading To Our Beloved Youth by John Killens, a poem that speaks to the strength, potential, and bright future of young people everywhere.
To our beloved youth, being the seeds, of the fruits of your beginnings, yours is the destiny to ensure reality to the visions of dreams deemed deferred. There is much for you to pursue and do. Listen, chickens have their coops. You, our beloved, are eaglets, heirs of daughters of the moon and sons of the shining sun. There is much for you to pursue and do. Focus your revealing eyes. Go spread your guiding wings wide. Feather your warm nest well. Soar the skies in great glory. There is much for you to pursue and do. The all-seeing eye is upon you. The pyramids stand before you. Know that flowing waves are behind you. Know that liberating shores are awaiting you. There is much for you to pursue and do. Never forget who and whose you are. Always mindful of what and who you be. The fertilizing labors of love, peace, and unity, of the full attainment of our precious liberty. There is much for you to pursue and do.
And now I invite Ben Yandila up to the stage to introduce our guest speaker this morning.
Good morning, everyone. It is my honor to introduce today's guest speaker, a distinguished Chillicothe High School alumni whose journey from right here in our community led him to a remarkable success both on and off the field. Mr. Garin Veris is a proud graduate at Chillicothe High School, where he made a name for himself as a standout student athlete. His dedication and talent earned him a place at Stanford University, where he continued to excel academically and athletically as a key player on the football team. His hard work and perseverance propelled him to the NFL, where he played as a defensive end for the New England Patriots, making an impact on the biggest stage in professional football, including an appearance in Super Bowl 20. Beyond his achievements in sports, Mr. Veris has dedicated his career to leadership, education, and community service. He has held influential roles in the athletics administration, including as athletic director of Chillicothe High School, and remains committed to mentoring young people emphasizing the importance of discipline, education, and perseverance in achieving success. Today, we are fortunate to hear from someone who has not only walked the path from Chillicothe to national recognition, but has also remained deeply invested in inspiring the next generation. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to our guest speaker, Mr. Garin Veris.
I'm going to raise this up a little bit if I can. Is that, make sure everybody, okay, perfect. Ben, that was unbelievable. That's probably the best introduction I've ever heard. Thank you very much. We give a round of applause to him. And also the young lady with the speaking. I mean, they are our future, and give her a hand. She did a great job. It's funny to be back in this gymnasium with all these people, and I'm not running out in little tight white shorts and dribbling a basketball, but it's great to be back here, and so many great memories of our basketball team and being a student here at Chillicothe High School. I'm just thrilled to be here and to be invited to speak here at the Black History Month Assembly. When I got the call or the email about coming to speak, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to say? Or, you know, there's a lot of memories that come back to my mind about what Chillicothe means to me and the things that I've learned starting right here in Chillicothe. First of all, I want to say I'm truly blessed and a proud black man who grew up right here in Chillicothe. Understanding black history and where I came from has always been important to me. I was born in the old Chillicothe Hospital, which was near the intersection of Cherry Street and Chestnut Street, if any of you are old enough to remember, on this day, exactly 62 years ago. Today is my birthday. I grew up on Vine Street, just 3 blocks from here. If you walk straight out these doors, straight through 3 blocks, you're going to be in my 2-bedroom house that I grew up in on Vine Street that I shared with my 3 sisters. All right. For the first 5 years of my life, I lived in Frankfort, Ohio, with my mom, my grandfather, and my great-grandfather. Mom worked at the Chillicothe Hospital, and at 5 years of age, she would drive me each morning to preschool in Chillicothe. At around noontime, I'd collect my money, and I would go out to the cab, and I'd give the cab driver my money, and he would drive me to Worthington Elementary School on Allen Avenue, which is no longer standing, I hear. I was always excited to make the 12-mile trip to Chillicothe with Mom. I think that is why I have always enjoyed making long-distance trips to this day. My mom and stepfather, my dad, got married when I was 5 years old. I just recently heard within the last couple of years that when Mom and Dad were seeking to purchase the home on Vine Street, there were some in the neighborhood who didn't want a black family moving in. My parents made the purchase anyway for $6,000. It was a nice place to grow up. But there was one family down the street that would constantly call me and my sister the N-word. I was always confused about why they would do that, but we just went about our business. I know Mom and Dad were very upset, and I'm quite sure they were not silent about it. At least they didn't show it to us. If there was an issue to be dealt with regarding their kids, Mom and Dad made sure it was addressed. When I see Mom and Dad again in heaven, I'll be sure to have that conversation about what happened after we told them of the racism on our street. Mom did not play. I was always a kid who wandered everywhere I could around Chillicothe, and I also wanted to know what was out there in the world beyond my neighborhood, my little town. I loved where I lived. It was my neighborhood. Chillicothe was pretty segregated as I remember it. Many black families lived in the west end of town between Western Avenue and Elm Street, and in the south end or in the east end across the railroad tracks. I had good friends all around town, but I mostly hung out with those on my block. But I mostly in a block in the West End due to them being close by. Two very good friends I always hung around with lived within a block of my house. One was a white guy, and the other person was a white gal. We called our group of three the Mod Squad. Some of you don't know who the Mod Squad is, but most of you are too young to remember the series, the Mod Squad. Of course, I was Link. I had the big fro, and Clarence Williams III was the actor. I even had that fro, and if you guys want to know more about it, look it up, young people, about the Mod Squad. Although my neighborhood had very little diversity, close relatives, our church, and sports brought together people who looked like me. We were always taught to respect our elders, take pride in anything you did, and make the right decisions. If you didn't make the right decision, there was going to be consequences. Yes, I paid consequences quite a few times. I became a good student through elementary, junior high, and high school. I had no choice. Mom was adamant that good grades would only be accepted. I was taught very early to get my schoolwork done before going out to play. I did well enough in the Chillicothe school system to earn an athletic scholarship to Stanford University, as Ben mentioned, one of the top universities in the country. I wanted to earn a meaningful degree, play football, and participate on the track team. I was able to pursue all three of my goals at Stanford University. Many people wanted me to go to Ohio State to play football for the Buckeyes, but OSU would only offer 2 of the 3 requests I had, and that's not what I wanted for myself. During this recruiting period, I had many mentors who looked like me, and they were leaders in the community. I looked up to them, but did not know the true impact they would have on my life. Here are some of those mentors. John Snow, teacher, coach, junior high. I get choked up thinking about it, how important he was, because he taught about the Civil War and what we went through the Civil War. He was a coach, and he also taught about stocks in the 7th and 8th grade. And to this day, I chose to look up Sears Roebuck. And to this day, I still check on what Sears Roebuck is doing on the stock market, just because of John Snow. And that started the process about, earning and stocks and how to take care of your money. But thank you, Mr. Snow. Lorene Washington, she was a guidance counselor. Rachel Foster, Ray Bradley, Captain James Harris, police captain here in Chillicothe, Sam and Nadine Wade of the NAACP, Reverend Ricks and Reverend Gauze at Quinn Chapel, where I grew up. My grandfather owned a business in Chillicothe, and he was an excellent fisherman too. I miss those days of going fishing on the Paint Creek and Yaktangi Park and all the pay ponds that we used to go to. I was like, we're paying to go fishing, but he wanted to catch those big catfish. A name came up, Bill Lee at the barber shop, what I learned in the barber shop, and some of the athletes, Mark Bayless, James Gauze, Michael Farrell. All these were influences on me, and I can't forget the joy that I had in this gym. Coach Tom Cuppett, this court is now named Tom Cuppett Court, Bob and Phil Bobo, and J.D. Prohl in baseball. And I know I'm missing a lot of people who were influential in my career, but these are some that came to me as I was thinking about it. Speaking of history, I've had the privilege of learning from the infamous, it's another great person, Beverly Gray. Please make sure you visit the David Nickens Heritage Museum on 4th Street in Chillicothe, where Beverly is the director. Chillicothe Black history is all throughout the museum, the city, and the county. Growing up, I did not know a lot of the history of African American travels to Chillicothe, the Underground Railroad, black military men and women, famous African American women, and genealogy. The David Nickens Heritage Museum will amaze you. That's my advertisement for the morning, so that's something that came to my mind and very important in the history of Chillicothe. Music and television had a huge impact on my life. Some of you are too young to remember this. The Jeffersons, Good Times, What's Happening, the Jackson Cartoon, Sanford and Son, Soul Train, American Bandstand, Casey Kasem, Top 20, WVKO, Commodores, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Stevie Wonder, Heatwave, Ohio Players, Can Function, Gladys Knight, and Roberta Flack, who we just lost a few days ago. I chose to go to school in California because I wanted to see what a different part of the country was like and to reach the goals I had set for myself. I was curious and I enjoyed learning about those who were different from me. Staying up late at night, learning what made those incredible new friends tick. This is where I began to understand the meaning of a diverse society and how important it is for us to all to try to understand each other and live together without bias. Life should include feeling good about who you are, your prospect of success, and being true to yourself. I've always challenged myself because I had always been taught that with hard work, you can accomplish great things. My parents taught me that, teachers taught me that, coaches taught me that. It's just who I am. I was a political science major at Stanford. I love reading and learning about history. My major interest was international relations. I took classes in United States, Soviet foreign policy under Condoleezza Rice at Stanford. We learned about colonialism in Africa and around the world. One of my favorite classes was a seminar I took led by Vice Admiral James Stockdale. Vice Admiral Stockdale was one of the highest ranking naval officers imprisoned in the Hoa Loa prison in Vietnam during the Vietnam War. He was tortured, legs tied up behind his back, wrists tied, for 8 years in prison. Here are some of the philosophical lessons Mr. Stockdale included in his syllabus and what attracted me to the class. How can one recognize the first indication of a manipulation squeeze play? What are the more effective ways of posturing yourself to remain impregnable? How can you defend yourself with dignity while maintaining your feeling of self-worth? How do you deal with fear and not be consumed with guilt? We read the teachings of Epictetus, a Greek philosopher. He was a slave who influenced the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, who tells us that by following Stoic principles, nobody can harm us without our permission. He also tells us that within our power lie our own actions. I can remember watching the TV series Roots while in junior high school and the impact it had on the way I looked at where I came from and how I fit into my community. The TV series was made from the book written by Alex Haley. Roots tells a story of Kunta Kinte, an 18th century Mandinka captured as an adolescent, sold into slavery in Africa, and transported to North America. It explores his life and those his descendants in the United States. If you have ever seen or read the book Roots, put it on your must-do list. We have come a long way from the western shores of Africa. I am thinking it would be appropriate at this time to do a remake of the original Roots. I think we need a remake of that. We seem to need a reminder of the pain caused by slavery and the effects that remain to this day. That was the first time I really wanted to learn as much as I could and truly be interested in learning about how humane it is to discriminate and hold people against their will and use them as property. People of color have gained access to the United States through slavery, colonialism, visas, wars, escape, immigration, and many other ways. In the early 1900s, Afro-Caribbean immigrants gained entrance into the U.S. by way of Philadelphia and New York. People of color were acquiring land, owned businesses, and began to acquire some wealth. As more people of color entered the U.S., systematic racism, discriminatory policies, general illiteracy among rural blacks, and migration led to a 90% decline in black-owned land. Blacks in the Upper South faced fewer obstacles than those in the Lower South when acquiring land, while Northern blacks, especially those who were freed from the Civil War, had access to more wealth and education. Through the adoption of the 14th Amendment, the equal rights laws passed in the late 1960s and early 1970s, black folks have looked to decrease the wealth gap and achieve equality in all aspects of our society. We all have witnessed that there has been much resistance over these years. This is why I accepted this invitation to speak today. I will continue to fight for equal rights for all people. Don't be afraid to speak up and speak your mind. Make sure you prepare with accurate and truthful information. There are going to be many times in your life where you will have to overcome adversities. You will have to learn to fight for what you believe and not settle for things that don't fit into your dreams and goals you have set for yourself. I continue to stand on the shoulders of so many from Chillicothe, from college, from law school, from professional football, and mentors and friends I've met over the many years. My journey can be your journey. I'm also thankful that I was taught at an early age that through hard work, being a good citizen and respecting those around you can lead to good things. I like your chances if you fight for what you want and aren't afraid to give up after getting knocked down. I attended the funeral of a Chillicothe High School alumnus this past week. He was a longtime CHS administrator and coach who I highly respected. These three words caught my attention during the service when describing his life: sincerity, integrity, and compassion. I hope you all think about that and follow through with these three characteristics throughout your life. I wish life was more like athletics, where your performance is the measure, and that performance has nothing to do with the color of one's skin, where they are from, or what religion they practice. We've come a long way. A long way. What do you know, my last page sticks together. In recognizing the accomplishments of those in the black community and all people, but there is so much more to be done. I'm a product of caring about the fighting for what is right and what is fair. Without our power lie our own actions. You and everyone in here are our future. Martin Luther King Jr. is a hero of mine, and I'm a follower of his life philosophy. I will end with one of my favorite Dr. King quotes. May I stress the need for courageous, intelligent, and dedicated leadership. Leaders of sound integrity. Leaders not in love with publicity, but in love with justice. Leaders not in love with publicity, but in love with justice, as I just said. Leaders not in love with money, but in love with their humanity. Leaders who can subject their particular egos to the greatness of the cause. I ask you all to be that leader. It's been my pleasure to speak to you this morning. Thank you so much. And let's all treat each other with dignity. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Veris, very much. Chillicothe is blessed to have you as an alumnus of Chillicothe High School, and we are so thankful for all of your contributions, not only to this community, but to our nation as a whole. Thank you. Now it's my honor to introduce Chillicothe High School senior Zion Van Hoos. He will be singing for us something that he has been diligently preparing for OMEA contest, entitled The Blind Plowman by Robert Clark.
Set my hands upon the plow, my feet upon the sod. Turn my face towards the east, and praise be to God. Every year the rains to fall, the seas they turn and spring. Every year the spreading trees shelter birds and sing. From the shelter of your heart, brother, drive out sin. Let those little birds of faith come and nest their took away my eyes, that my soul might see.
I now invite Mason Brown, our Executive Student Council President, to share with us a powerful poem by the legendary Maya Angelou entitled Human Family.
I note the obvious differences in the human family. Some of us are serious, some thrive on comedy. Some declare their lives are lived as true profundity, and others claim they really live the real reality. The variety of our skin tones can confuse, bemuse, delight. Brown and pink, and beige and purple, tan and blue and white. I've sailed upon the 7 seas and stopped in every land. I've seen the wonders of the world, not yet one common man. I know 10,000 women called Jane and Mary Jane, but I've not seen any two who really were the same. Mirror twins are different, although their features jibe, and lovers think quite different thoughts while lying side by side. We love and lose in China, we weep on England's moors, and laugh and moan in Guinea, and thrive on Spanish shores. We seek success in Finland, and are born and die in Maine. In minor ways we differ, in major we're the same. I note the obvious differences between each sort and type, but we are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. We are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. We are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. Thank you.
Mr. Rick McConnell, we had the pleasure of hearing as he led us through the Black National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing, is a 2009 graduate of Chillicothe High School. I tried to go into Dazzle and find his picture so we could put it up on a screen, but I guess he didn't show up for picture day that day. But he is going to share with us another opportunity for special music. Rick has consistently demonstrated a passion for the music and the arts, and his journey since graduating has only deepened that commitment. His performance today is sure to inspire and uplift us as we continue to honor the rich legacy of Black history and culture. Mr. Rick McConnell.
Sometimes it feels cold and you feel all alone, but hold on, better days are coming. It can be rough in this world. I know it ain't easy, but hang on in there, because better days are coming. Yeah. You've seen good, you've seen bad, you've been hurt beyond sin, but just remember that better days are coming. I know that friends will leave you all by yourself, but I want to encourage you not to cry, because better days are coming. Oh, better days. Better days are coming, yes. I want to encourage you that better days. Hold on, don't give up, they're gonna come. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's only a season. Hang on in there, because better days are coming. I know people, they don't see the hurt you feel inside, but just know that keep on smiling, keep on hanging on, God is on your side. Say, better days, yes, yes, better days are coming, yes they are. Hold on, don't give up, God is on your side. Better days are coming, regardless of what you may go through, hold on, yes. Better days, they're coming, yes they are. Hey, oh, better days are coming. Oh, better days are coming.
Wow, that was awesome. Thanks, Mr. McConnell. Wow. And it just is so amazing to have two awesome alumni willing to come back and share with us this morning. And I just can't thank these two gentlemen enough for all of their contributions. As we close out this morning, it's my honor to introduce Ethan Morris, a senior at Chillicothe High School, a very talented senior who is actually going on to college for organ performance. And he is going to share with us the song entitled Maple Leaf Rag by the legendary Scott Joplin. This iconic piece is known for its lively and energetic rhythms, and I know that Ethan has a word to say prior to his performance. Mr. Morris.
Well, it's so great to be out here. This is a great assembly, wonderful performance by our guests, and I'll talk a little bit about the composer and this piece of music. Scott Joplin was born in 1863 in Texarkana, Texas. And he was born to formerly enslaved railroad labor parents. And he often, his family is very musical, and he was very talented. And he often considered his ragtime music, he was dubbed as the king of ragtime. He considered it as a form of classical music, actually, and intended it to be performed at concert halls, even though Hollywood always has that in like honky-tonk bars. But it's a great piece of music, and it's probably his most famous rag, along with a few other pieces such as The Entertainer or the Featuring Rag. But I'm very glad to be able to play for you all, and thank you for letting me do this.
Thank you, Ethan. As we come to the close of our Black History Month Assembly, I wanted to take a moment to acknowledge and express our deepest gratitude to the honored guests and visitors who are here before me this morning. We thank you for coming and joining us for breakfast and then continuing to stay for this assembly. We are so glad and blessed to have you here with us this morning. So thank you for joining. Also, once again, I'd like to acknowledge and thank all of those who have participated and helped make today's assembly a success. First of all, our jazz band for your performance. Our students, Mason, Ben, Stella, Ethan, and Zion. Along with some of our students behind the scenes, our Executive Student Council, so we thank them for their hard work. Our Sophomore Student Council for their help. And then, of course, Mr. Rick McConnell for blessing us this morning. And last but not least, thank you to Mr. Garin Veris for your words. As we leave here today, let's remember the theme of this year's Black History Month, African Americans and labor. This theme is not only highlights the contributions of African Americans to our nation's workforce, but also serves as a powerful reminder of the enduring impact of their labor, both physical and intellectual, all throughout history. Let us take this celebration with us, carrying forward the lessons we've learned today, and honor the legacy of those who have fought for our dignity, equality, and opportunity for all. Thank you again for everyone who has participated, and thank you for being here, guests. As we celebrate, we learn, and we grow together as a Cavalier community and the Chillicothe community. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.